Another way to implement master detail is using master detail page in Xamarin Forms. So we have a type of page that is called master detail page, and that's what you're going to learn in this lecture. Now look how this page provides a different experience from what you learned in the last lecture. So here we have the list of masters, and on the right side, you see a preview of the detail page. If I select John, we navigate to the detail page. We have a link on the navigation bar called Contacts, which takes us back to the Contacts page or the master page. Now this little preview looks a little bit strange on mobile, but if you run this application in a tablet, this is how it looks. So we have the master panel on the left side and the detail panel on the right side. So if this is the kind of experience you want to provide to the end user, you need to use a master detail page. So let's see how we can implement this. Here's our contacts page that we built in the last lecture. Again, if you want to code along with me, download the code attached to this lecture. Now, we want to promote this page from a content page to a master detail page. So basically, in Xamarin Forms, we have this abstract class called page, which has a few different derivatives. One of them is content page that you have seen so far. In this lecture, you're going to learn about master detail page. There are a few other different derivatives that you're going to learn in this section. Now, as far as master detail page is concerned, here we have two properties, master and detail. And they both are of type page, which means you can assign them to an instance of any derivatives of the page class. So let's promote this context page from content page to master detail page. First, I add master detail page. And similarly, we go into code behind and change the parent of this class to master detail page. Now we need to set the master and detail property of this page. Let me quickly show you. So anywhere in the code, if I type this.master, look, master is a property of type page. We also have detail. Again, this is a page. So I'm going to go in the XAML file and use property element syntax to set the master and detail properties. So master detail page.master. And one more time, master detail page.detail. Now in the master, I want to have a page with the list of contacts. Well, we already have this page here. So I'm just going to cut this code from here and paste it inside master. Like this. Next, I'm going to grab these few attributes, XML namespace declarations, and X class, which determines the code behind class. So I'm going to cut these three attributes and instead allocate them to master detail page, which is our root element. So previously, because content page was our root element, we had these attributes there. Now master detail page is our root element, so we should paste these attributes here. Like this. So we have two XML namespace declarations and X class attribute. We have set the master page. Now we need to set the detail page. The detail page needs to be set dynamically. So we're going to do that in the code. But master detail page has a strict requirement, and that is this detail property needs to be set to something. We cannot leave it null. So when the page is first loaded, I just want to assign this to an empty content page. So content page. Now, when an item is selected, we want to replace this detail page with a different page. So let's go in the code behind. In handle underline item selected. First of all, in master detail pages, we don't want to deselect the currently selected item. Because if the user loads this application in a tablet, you want to give them this kind of experience. So the master should be selected at all times. Okay? So back here, I'm going to remove these few lines where we touch selected item. And the last line. So we get the contact, which is the currently selected item. Now, instead of using the navigation property, we want to set the detail property. So I'm going to delete this and instead set detail to a new contact detail page and pass this contact object here. Now, because we are not using await anymore, we shouldn't put async here. Delete. Okay. And the last step. In order to present the detail page, we need to set is presented to false. Now, I know this is a little bit confusing. It would be better if this property was called is master presented. So when we set this to false, master goes away and detail comes into the view. And of course, I'm talking about the phone experience. If you use this application on a tablet in the landscape mode, both master and detail are presented at all times. But if I change orientation, when I select the master, then the master page disappears and we see the detail page. And we have the same experience on a phone. So that's why we use isPresented property. Now, if we launch this application at this point, we're going to see an empty page. Honestly, I don't know why, but you should ask the Xamarin team. When we use master detail page, by default, the detail page is presented, which looks a little bit strange because the user should always select a master before the detail is presented. I don't know why we have this behavior in Xamarin Forms. So to get around that, I'm going to go in the XAML page. And for our master detail page, I'm going to set is presented to true. And that means the master is presented. And the last step, we go in the app class. When using master detail page, we're not going to use navigation page. So I'm going to directly assign this to new contacts page. All right, now let's run this application. All right, so initially we have the list of masters, and on the right side, you see a blank area. That's because of the preview of the detail page, which is initially set to an empty content page. Now I select one of these items. We see the detail page, but there's no way to get back to masters. To fix this, in our item selected handler, we need to wrap this contact detail page inside a navigation page. So new navigation page, like this. And this navigation page will add a navigation bar along with the back button. Let's run the application again. All right, so I'm going to select an item. Look, we've got the navigation bar and a link to get back to the list of contacts. Beautiful. Next, I'm going to show you how to add tabs to your applications.